Alright, welcome to my channel, Sewing Side Hustle. And for this video we're going to be doing an unboxing. First I want to say that I am not advertising for anybody. I'm talking about what comes across my table. And if it happens to be something that I know or a vendor that I know of, I will talk about what I know. And for this particular one, we're going to talk about Carol fabric. I hope that's not backwards. Carol fabric. Let me turn it around. That's really upside down and backwards. Anyway, Carol Fabrics. You can get it online. This is a major distributor. And you can get all different kinds of fabrics from these folks here. Not just what I'm fixing to pull out here, which is a linen. We've probably, over the years, my shop has probably cut thousands of yards of Carol fabric. They're a very reputable company. They have a real good return policy, and we're going to get into all of that. So that's basically all I'm going to say about them. There's all different places to get fabrics and stuff, and luckily when you have a sewing shop like this, that's on the decorator and or designer, and so you work with what they send you. We always leave it up to our customers to get their own fabrics, their own linings, and all of that stuff. Now we do supply some stuff, and we'll be going over all of that later, but for the moment I want to go ahead and open this up and show you what's in it, and then we got to cut 4 panels and continue this order of drapes. Here we go. Okay, there's not really anything on there I want to talk about. Oftentimes, oh, there it is. That's what I was looking for. This we'll need. This is what I was wanting. Let me get it out of here. Alright, so this little tag is important. It has the yardage, which is, this particular bolt has 14.5 yards on it. It's got a quality, which is a C. It doesn't say anything beyond that. It says the name of this particular fabric is ARLYN, Arlen Snow, maybe. The main thing that I want to talk about that comes on here is do not cut until you inspect. And then it don't say what to inspect for, but anyway, until you inspect, don't cut it, because once you cut it, it's yours. If you don't cut it, they have a really good return policy. Alright, so what you would look for before you cut this fabric, you should look at the ends of the bolt. And oftentimes there may be little marks on here. It could be tape, it could be a piece of off-colored thread sewed in, it could be just a mark. It'd be something, and it'd be obvious. And where you would see these, which you don't see any on here, there would be a flaw. So if you see a lot of that, a lot of flaws, you want to roll this off and make sure it's usable before you cut it so you can send it back. As you can see, this one has no flaws showing on this end. There's no flaws showing on this end. None that I can see. All right. So let me get that up on the rack and roll it off and cut it, and I'll let you follow along as I'm cutting this, because there's a little trick here, and it goes back to the grain. Remember I showed you the grain on the table? Well, this has a grain too, and we're going to be following that grain and make sure we cut it straight. Now you always can't do that. Sometimes the grain is not straight to the fabric, or the grain might not be straight to the print if it has a print. But in most cases, if you find a bolt of fabric that's not marked on the ends with a lot of flaws, then you can pretty much count on the grain being pretty straight to the size of the fabric, to the salvage. So let me turn this off and get this on the rack and get it rolled out, and we'll talk about it some more. All right, I want to talk about grain in fabric, and this is the fabric on my cutting table, and the grain on it really stands out. It's really easy to see, and I put the Canon lens cap there to have something to focus on, so that that grain would stand out. And I want to talk about how important it is. Now, first I want to say as a disclaimer that all fabrics are not the same. So when you get a fabric and you pull it out of a bolt, or pull the plastic off of it and you open it up, if it has a lot of marks on the edges, like it could be anything from tape, some sort of marks, those are generally will be flaws in the fabric, and you'll want to open that up if there's a lot of them and see if you can even use that fabric. If you don't see a lot of flaws, generally the grain will be accurate. It will be, you can go by it as far as helping you to get your fabric straight on the table. All right, as we were talking earlier about grain in the fabric, okay, this is a linen. And Carroll Fabrics handles, they're not a manufacturer of fabric, they're a distributor, and they distribute all different types of fabrics, not just linen. But this is a nice heavy thread count quality linen. It's going to make a beautiful drape, and I want to show you about the grain. I know I keep talking about the grain, so let's get into that. Need some scissors. Where did I leave them? Alright, so here we got this fabric out. It's a linen. It's a type of fabric, and it's a heavy thread count. It's a nice heavy piece of linen. It's going to make a beautiful drape. And this comes from Carroll again, and Carroll is a distributor, not a manufacturer. So they distribute all kinds of stuff. Mostly in this business, the decorators and the designers supply you with the fabrics and linens and stuff that you need to make the drapes, although we supply a lot of other stuff that we'll be going over later. But for the moment, I want to get back to the grain. It's very important. I showed it to you on the table. There's grain in this fabric, and I'm going to show it to you. And oftentimes, fabrics like this, you can pull a string. Let's see if we can pull a string in this. So I'm going to try to cut, put some glasses on so I can see. I'm going to try to cut just a little ways right down the grain. Nice and straight to the grain. Okay, you can see, hopefully, can you see that? Let me see if I can zoom in on that. This little guy here, you can see it? Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do this. And sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. and on this fabric we can't. So what I'm going to do then, we're back to the importance of a really good table. Now you can buy these tables commercially. I build my own. I've been building my own for quite some time, so I like them at a height that's a little different than what you get. So this is custom to me, this table. Again, you got to get everything nice and straight. I think they call that blocking. I don't know. I think blocking is for making clothes or something. So it said we had 14 yards. I don't know, threw that piece of paper away, but I'm pretty sure it said 14 yards, and we've already done this part. But I did want to talk about how important it is to make sure you have enough fabric for the job you're going to do before you cut it. Once you cut, there's no return. Before you cut, good return policy. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm just running back and forth and looking up and down the table to make sure everything is straight. Let me turn the camera around. Alright, so we've already demonstrated about the grain and pulling the string, and we can't. I was able to pull it a little ways, enough to know that the grain is really straight with the fabric. So I'm going to just trim this off right on the 1, right on the 0 mark, and make sure it's nice and straight. And again, do not forget to notch your corners. It's very important. I can't stress that enough. Alright, so we're going to cut it off right there. Make videos out of this, see what I can do in the editing process, get them up there, and continue on later. With that being said, thanks for watching my channel. Sewing Side Hustle. I'll remember it one of these days. Brand new channel. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.